Now, the president's decision has got the endorsement of the man who once served as Kenya's anti-corruption chief. Professor PLO Lumumba wrote to President Kenyatta earlier this month asking him to act. He spoke to KTN'S Sharon Momanyi on what he makes of this latest move.
Sir, a few weeks ago, yourself and former advisor to Raila Odinga, Barack Muluka, urged the president to crack the whip on corruption. Are you happy with this?
We are very happy. I hold the view that the letter we wrote to the president is being acted on, and we do not always claim monopoly for wisdom, but we hold the view that the president is now taking action. Many Kenyans have been speaking and they have been urging the president to do that which is right and good, and the president in his wisdom has now taken the decision to do that which is right and good. He has declared effectively that corruption is a national disaster, and I think that this is a good move which ought to be celebrated, and the president ought to be congratulated. But of course, a lot more needs to be done. What we urge the president is that he must now have a totally different perspective in the fight against corruption.
Now, in the statement, he takes on these measures that has a multi-agent approach on the call, to fight corruption. He calls on the private sector, the entire, citizens of Kenya, the judiciary. Do you feel like this is a good move? Is it going to be an effective move in the fight against corruption?
All hands must now be on deck. Remember that the president himself admitted that there was corruption in his department. The Speaker of the National Assembly has admitted as much. The Chief Justice of the Republic has admitted as much. KEPSA has admitted as much. So we are actually acknowledging as a nation that corruption is a cancer in the body politic, and what the president is doing is now calling the nation to action. And this is an issue that demands a bipartisan approach. When Kenya is on fire, there is no opposition and there is no government. We are all called to action.
Mm-hmm. Corruption has really been like this dragon that Kenyans have dealt with for years. And as a one-time director of the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission, why is this not going away, really?
Political will throughout history has been the silver bullet. For the first time in the history of independent Kenya, President Kenyatta, having been confronted with the dragon of corruption, has now realized how dangerous it is, and he has done something that must be lauded. He has said that this is a threat to the security of the country, and he has pronounced measures which, in my view, if implemented, will for the first time begin to liberate this country from the chains of corruption. I think that corruption has been attractive to most Kenyans because corruption pays. If you are corrupt and you have a lot of money, you are elected into public office. If you are corrupt, you are respected in churches. If you are corrupt, you are celebrated. One of the problems that has made corruption very attractive is because of impunity. People are corrupt and nothing happens to them. I expect the president then to say, and there is a sense in which he has said it because he has directed the Honorable the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya to establish a department that will deal with property that is seized from the corrupt. Corruption will only cease to be attractive when those who have acquired wealth illegally have that wealth taken away. I have always, I hear people sometimes say that the EACC has failed to fight corruption. That is, in my view, without merit. The EACC is a body that has a staff of no more than 275 people. Its role is to investigate. Once it investigates, it recommends to the Director of Public Prosecution, which then prosecutes before the judiciary. And I'm saying without batting an eyelid that this is the time to have a positive conspiracy of institutions. All institutions in the criminal justice system must now look at the law and ask themselves, how do we prosecute corruption cases so that individuals are sent to jail? What President Kenyatta must now do, and I pray and hope that he institute who are going to support him,
As of now, the cabinet is limping. President Uhuru Kenyatta's government is limping. Almost a third of it has been sent home in this fight against corruption. What does he need to do to restore public trust?
I think there is a sense in which we must, now that President Kenyatta has done what we asked him to do, I want to be charitable to him. Because the very act of sending members of his cabinet home or asking them to step aside, as we choose to say in Kenya, is a bold act. Is a demonstration that going forward, I want to be the head of a government that is clean. And I think that if he continues on that trajectory, the trajectory of demonstrating to the people of Kenya that I want a clean government, then the people's confidence will be restored in his government. What he needs to do is to demonstrate that this is my proverbial single step in a journey of 1,000 miles. And he must now tell Kenyans that I cannot win this war alone.
Many Kenyans, in their reaction to the statement today, saying that this is all talk. We've had all this before, but really action never seems to follow the talk. What would you say as your last words?
I've always held the view that we can never lose hope. This country cannot afford the luxury of losing hope. I want us to be guardedly optimistic, to tell our president, if you continue in the right direction, we are going to be behind you, because this country is ours. This is a country that we must protect. We must protect it for selfish reasons, and we must also protect it for our children and children's children. And I have no doubt in my mind that if we do that, this country called Kenya, which has the biggest economy in East Africa, which is now not doing as well as it should, which is now punching below her weight in politics, economic, and in other areas, in a short while, historians will be able to say the country is now back. Like the phoenix before it, it is rising from our ashes. I look forward to saying that of my country. I can never lose hope and faith in my country. That is why I call her my motherland, to be cherished and adored. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.